I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, man, happy to. I'm grateful for you.
Hey, Rick Raanes, this is Todd Schroth here on Agents Who Win. I appreciate you jumping on today. I know you're on vacation, so this is a great little like on location type thing. You're not in your office, so you're in the Outer Banks right now. I know our topic's about door knocking your database, but I think this is pretty cool because you're on kind of on vacation, but you're at a mastermind with about 30 other agents. And our conversation before was talking about like the housing that's going on there and all that. So I wanted to hear about that for a second. And it's cool. People are getting back together and masterminding. And, I miss doing that because we were traveling probably once every month to 2 months, going somewhere to go meet with a group of people to just sit around talking and just like, be free and learn about each other's businesses and stuff versus getting on Zoom and trying to talk over each other.
Well, it's important, I think, to be able to get back and get out and about and get together. We had an opportunity in the Outer Banks to pull 30 agents from around the United States. We got a couple from California, a lot from New York, a lot here in Virginia and North Carolina. And the blessing in all this is number one, seeing people again and being near and develop those relationships. But number two, hear how some of these guys that are doing a lot of business, what's their, $50, $60 million a year in sales, how are they doing and handling their business? And it's interesting that the struggle around the United States is very common. We're all searching for listings. We're struggling for our buyers to get them, win multiple offer situations. And we had an opportunity to talk about the growth of real estate, the limited properties that are available, how investors are getting into the market, how to find them, how to help them grow portfolios. And it was interesting to hear how everybody's kind of in a similar way building their business through these really difficult and I'll call it trying times.
Yeah, no, so what are some of the top tricks like that you guys learned? Because I know we're all trying to get our buyer's offers accepted. What are those guys doing?
Well, it's interesting. The common thread here was really diving back into your database. You know what? You've got to have more conversations with the people that you've done business with or that or your core advocates. That seems to be to be in the know. You want to be top of mind. You can't just expect that someone's going to call you out of the blue and say, "Hey, Rick, we're thinking about upsizing or downsizing. Can you come sell our house?" You've got to be top of mind.
No, and that's for us, getting the feedback again. It's just trying to find out how to be top of mind and doing all that. And so that kind of segues us into what we've got here is door knocking your database. So let's talk about that.
Well, I ask a question a lot of times. How many databases do you have?
One.
You specifically.
Yes.
Well, you've got them all over the place, right? You've got an Instagram database, you've got a Facebook database, you've got a LinkedIn database, you've got a CRM database, you've got a phone database. So you've got this multitude of opportunities for people. And you talk to someone that's brand new or heavily seasoned, you ask them, how many people do you have in your phone? This would be a good exercise for you too, Todd, is that, through the years, we've collected data from people that have called, and we've got this massive amount of opportunity that's already resting inside of our phones and our Google PPC leads. We've got this tremendous number of people. But what's the message that we're doing, and how are we getting this message to say, hey, my name is Rick Raanes. I'm a real estate agent in the Woodlands, Texas, and I would love to help you sell your home. I want to maximize your returns on the sale of your property, and I want to help you save money when you're buying a home on all the small little items on the repair infrastructure. So you have to be able to do this in an effective manner. So there has to be a game plan for all of these people. So what are you doing in all of your databases so that you can reach them at a high level? I believe that just like grabbing some door hangers and going around and, on a 600, planned community or whatever, and say, I'm going to go introduce myself to all these people, chances are you've got thousands of people that can refer you business. And believe it or not, every single person that's in each of those CRMs or each of those databases will move at some point in time.
Yeah, it's just a matter of reaching them all in a different way. It's funny because you say that. I'm sitting here thinking about how many databases I have. I would think 3 because I've got my Follow Up Boss database we use. I've got a couple, a handful of contacts on our KV Core database, and then I've got my phone. And those are what I consider my 3 databases. But you've just opened it up to 3 more, or maybe 4, because you got Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram that I'm on. And then if you add in TikTok or Snapchat or the others, those are more databases because everyone's on this TikTok trend, trying to get the videos watched. So that's another database, other one. So reaching those guys, and we do mass email to our database to stay in touch with them. We, that's virtually knocking on their doors. So our Facebook posts are virtually knocking on them, and LinkedIn, the messaging and all that.
I believe that your ultimate goal is to get someone to open the door. It's to create the conversation, right? So, you can ping somebody on LinkedIn and you can send them a note, you can send them all these different things through an email or whatever, but you have to have a call to action in an email.
Yep.
It basically says, hey, reach out to me with any questions, right? That's a real boring, common deal, but it's a call to action. Call me for a discussion.
Yeah.
So if you're on a social media platform and you're having a direct message exchange, that's great. That's the same thing as getting somebody to at least come to the door. You're able to at least initiate the conversation. But the goal for me is if there is an exchange of 2 or 3 more text messages in a thread, I'm gonna add in my text back is going to be, hey, do you have a minute to talk? And the goal is to get them to say yes, maybe not now, maybe at 5 o'clock, maybe at this other time. I'm busy at the moment, but I want to have the voice-to-voice conversations. Being here this week, it was such a great thing to actually hear and see and watch people interact with each other, and there's emotion and they're behind a conversation versus just a text message. So the goal for me is every day is to have 50 some types of interactions, right? Whether it's liking a comment, some type of a like or a share of some sort, telling somebody I think they're doing a great job. But the ultimate thing for me is how do I have at least 10, my goal is to try to have 15 live conversations every single day with somebody that's in my sphere of influence or somebody that I'm connected to. You look at your databases and you say, well, gosh, I have, 3,000, 4,000, I'm maxed out at 5,000 Facebook friends. Well, do you really know all of them? Take one day of their birthdays, right? And make sure that you're reaching out to all of those folks. You think, imagine what your world would look like if you knew and could put in a pipeline the timeline for who you're having a conversation with when they're planning on making the next move. It may not be 100% accurate, but what I like to do is when I finish out every question, it's something for a conversation. It's really simple. It's, hey, Todd, by the way, you know what? I'm kind of silly about this, but I always am curious. National statistics say that, Americans move every, 5 to 7 years. Just how curious, how long have you been in your current home?
Right.
And, and you say, well, do you fit that normal statistic?
Right.
Do you plan on saying that when do you plan on making a move for your family? And you might have children growing and you might want to, you want to have a bigger family. So, you're going to have a bigger home. And if somebody were to kind of jokingly tell me, oh, we're going to be here till, 2027, that's when my daughter graduates. What a perfect thing to say is, well, that's great. So would you mind if I call you in 2026 just to confirm if that really works? Right. So yeah, sure, Rick. But you're using these types of tools to develop and build a pipeline of activity so that hey, in 2024, I may only have 5 people, but I've got 5 people that said they're going to move in 2024.
So you've already got 10 opportunities sitting there, or 10% of your opportunities ready for 3 years from now.
Yeah, but you've got to make sure you're remembering all of these things, right? So putting it in your database and adding it in your CRM, adding a reminder note. So all of these types of tasks, like I don't buy into the call a lead 10 times over the first 9 days and all this kind of stuff, right? Because most internet buyers and things of that nature aren't immediate. They're not going to buy today. However, if I can nurture them with some good conversations, some good tips every once in a while, I can engage them. And then when I do reach out to them or they finally actually respond to something, I can say, what's your timeline look like? Not here to push or pressure, just want to know what I can do to be a bigger benefit for you. So.
No, that's all good. Getting some more feedback here. Hold on. If you could start building out your pipelines ahead. I mean, we got in a conversation with Chip Barkala on send out cards about how he's got, people lined up through the year. He's already got 20 or 30 million planned for this year for business, which is great. I mean, it's a huge number, and it's because of staying in touch with the people and dropping little nuggets to them, and you door knock them a different way.
Yeah, it's exactly it, right? So like I look to the personality of the individual agent. What's their driver? I'm a high I. I love conversations. I love people. I like the self-affirmations and stuff like that. And so for me, people are important because I need the interaction. It's what fuels me. It doesn't mean it comes without frustrations, because someone's calling and they finally do get with you. They're going to, you've got negative Nellies out there, and you've got to overcome those, right? But at the end of the day, if I can have enough conversations with people, my business is taken care of. And when you're coming from a point of contribution during the course of those conversations, how can I help you? How can I be a benefit? Whether it's remodeling your home today for, another 8 years of living in it at a high level. Let me share some vendors that I know that could possibly help you with that type of stuff. That is an item of value that's overlooked by a lot of people. They don't realize the level of experience that you have with your contractors and people that you're doing business with. And if you're missing something, reach out to your database and ask. If you're missing a landscaper, or you're missing a plumber, or you're missing something, ask your database, who's the best guy? And then you start sharing those opportunities. Who's got more recommendations, or this guy comes highly recommended from this particular deal. All of those are business development tools that I feel have helped me be successful through the years, because I'm connecting people and adding value to them that's closely related to real estate, but not 100% to a purchase or a sale.
Well, it's a little bit beyond, it's just going beyond like community. And if you go on your community page, say, hey, who's the best painter in the market? And then you'll have 50 people comment. And if someone comments the same person 5 times, then you go ahead and use that as your referral. Call them, vet them, but that becomes one of your number one guys. And if you go to your date or shoot an email blast out, because I've done that on my Facebook page where I've said, hey guys, need some contractors. Who's the best ones you refer? And then we do it for engagement, and I'll have my guys like, wait, I thought I was your painter. What do you mean you're looking for a painter?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Text, hey man, just doing some engagement out there, seeing what's going on. But it's
I'm finding your competition. These are the guys that you need to pay attention to, right?
Yeah, that's true.
This is what the community feels is who the best painter is, right? So now if it's Smith Painting Services, then you need to find out what Smith Painting Services are doing, or how can I help? Let's help you beat them so that they're not using Smith Painting Service. So
we have a handyman in our market. It's like Angel Handyman or something, but somebody posted in our community page yesterday looking for that handyman that always posts on social media. Where is he? And he goes in because he's showing himself doing everything. He's on a job putting floors in, he's on a job painting, he's putting a fence up, he's fixing a roof, he's doing this or doing that. And so he shows his trucks. He just posts constantly in the community page. And so people now see him top of mind. And, there's a realtor who stood on a roof the other day and was making some comment, took a picture of himself up there. But it's like, if you say, we know him because of the stuff he does like that. And it's like, if you start putting yourself out there every day in content, your people are going to be like, hey, who's that realtor who was standing on the roof on social media the other day? Looking for that guy. So it's like doing those small things.
It's incremental, right? So if you want small results, do small tasks. If you want big results, you've got to be purposeful about it. Yeah. And you've got to have a number in mind. You've got to have something that's, I'm not a numbers tracker. I just know that what I have to do on a daily basis. And I can tell by the activity on my direct messages from Facebook, from my phone, and I can tell if I've had a busy day. And part of my conversations are purposeful about real estate. It's like, hey, anybody moving, internationally? Do you have anybody moving across the country? Do you have anybody moving locally? Whatever it is, talk real estate with people. If you don't believe it, they're going to ask you if you're having a conversation. How's the market? How's the world in your world? Market in your world, and you just go through that process with them. And I think that most agents are afraid of having the conversations.
mean, like you talk about, you're my broker database, and you're right now helping my uncle sell his house.
Correct.
And so if we weren't communicating about real estate back and forth, or I wasn't putting stuff out there for him to see, he would not think that I know somebody in his neighborhood, which is ironic because we normally don't have that close a connection. But you guys are virtually neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's great to be able to do that because I'm door knocking my realtor database right now, trying to build my referral network. But I'm using that database as LinkedIn, Facebook, and then just trying to target those areas. We're doing a lunch and learn in about a month and a half, beginning of June, and I'm going to be door knocking. As you're saying, door knocking my Facebook database for the invites to people there. Pull all of them up, start messaging them. Hey guys, we're having this one. I invite you, etc.
Well, have fun with it, right? And I think at the end of the day, create something, a life that's enjoyable, and make comments about people and the things that they're doing. Look through your friends list. Look for people that you haven't talked to in a long time. Be purposeful about those types of conversations. I sent a note. I got somebody on my Facebook the other day, and I had no idea who he was. When I go back to the friendships, we became friends in 2015. We had no common posts and stuff, and I'm sure it was at a convention, a real estate conference of some sorts, because it turns out he got out of real estate because I sent him a direct message, hey Bob, how's it going? And so I'm not sure how you and I are connected, but we're Facebook friends, but we don't interact. Just how did we get connected? And turns out he was a real estate agent. He's not a real estate agent anymore. He didn't stay in the business. He just didn't like it. But Facebook never shows our stuff. And interesting, right after that happened, I've got a direct message on him. He posted something, and then I got it on my Facebook wall, my timeline. So, you have to engage with people for Facebook to recognize that they're an active part of who you are. So if you want more involvement and more engagement in Facebook, go find the people that you're not engaging with so that Facebook will share your messages with them again.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I've got 3,300 friends on there. And I laugh because I'm like, I keep refreshing because I'm bored on doing something. I just, pull the phone down. I'm like, why does it keep seeing the same top post? I want to see new stuff. There's 3,300 people that I should be seeing interactions with. And it's not. It's like 10. And then I'll get a random. I'm like, oh, cool. A buddy of mine just got his license down in Lakeland and never post on Facebook. And all of a sudden I see his post and I see his story. And it's so I messaged him like, hey guys, congratulations, get your license. Love to, get together to connect and see how we can help each other.
Well, you have to be intentional and you have to be purposeful. And it's something that, just find that time, and it's lead generation. Have fun with lead generation. They all talk 2 to 3 hours a day of lead generation. We do not have appointments from 8 to 5 o'clock. Agents do not have a full schedule of appointments with people for listings and buyers. You might have a full day with a buyer, but I guarantee you in today's world, you're not going to see 17 homes in this market. There's just not enough to go see. So you're scheduling maybe 3, maybe 5 homes for a buyer. Doesn't take all day to do that. So you've got the ability to connect. And if you really check your screen times, you'll probably find that most agents are spending between 5 and 10 hours a day on social media.
Yeah.
So be purposeful about it. I think what's really fun is I take birthdays, and then if I see somebody that I really know that I haven't connected with in a long time, maybe you delete them because you're just not connected any longer. But birthdays are a great way to stay in touch. Create a shareable video. I've got one that's just a happy birthday. I lip sync to Frank Sinatra's happy birthday, and I send it out to people that are younger, and they go, Rick, I didn't know you could sync like that. And I'm like, it's Frank Sinatra. And they'll go, who? And so, but it's something that creates the level of engagement. It's something that you can have a canned message that you're just, sending some stuff to, any type of thing that has automatic, I've got a text expand app on my phone that I can type in HB and the happy birthday thing comes out. And if I see they're on Facebook, I don't want to send them a happy birthday message on Facebook, even though that's fun. But if I actually have them of a personal contact in my phone, so I want it to be a more personal message. So I just type in HB in a text message, and it pulls up this big thing, happy birthday, with a link to the YouTube video, and it saves me a ton of time. And I can get 10 to 15 of those out in literally a minute and a half. So
what's the YouTube video? Is that you lip syncing Frank Sinatra?
Yeah, I'll share it with you here. It's really funny. So it's a kind of a black and white video. It's just look up Rick Raanes happy birthday.
Okay.
And I'll share it with you too. But but a couple things that you can do to be purposeful in a message. If you're going to put a message on someone else's timeline, tag your business, right? Because that checks them into your business, which will then tell Facebook that this person has checked into the business. And if they're not a friend, it will allow you to retarget that individual because they've now checked into your business.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it takes a little bit extra time, but at the end of the day, now that person's got to check in at the Texas Rockstar group. And then when I go post something on the Texas Rockstar group, because they checked in, there's a high probability that they would get, they would get that in their feed.
Right. Whether they page or not. That's smart.
Yep.
I was having a conversation with our buddy Anthony the other day and about the happy birthday stuff. And he goes, I go through there every day and I wait about 3 days before I send them a happy birthday. And he goes, his script was, Rick, I know your birthday was a couple days ago, but I just figured, we're all getting a little bit older and we don't want to remember the day because it's, there's so much tension that day. So I just thought I would just wish you a little bit belated happy birthday. And we're older. We don't want to remember that it's our birthday. So you probably forgot 3 days ago it was your birthday, but just here's a little reminder for you.
Have fun with it. Be yourself, let your personality show in your conversations. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get people either on the phone or in front of them in person. Hey, when can we go grab a cup of coffee? I have created a very tight core list of 50 people that are my past clients, good friends, that I have are local, that I feel that are the biggest drivers of my business. It's business owners, people that I'm in Rotary with, and those folks I talk to every single quarter without a doubt. I mean, it's something that I'm very purposeful about, that 50. And that I get a ton of referral business from those 50 people. And that's really a big thing. You can make it 100, but it's not as personal. So my 50 core advocates, I try to at least have some type of coffee, lunch, or conversation with them every quarter.
Yeah, which is 50 is doable. You get up to 100, you really got to be having the time and people to help in the back end to do that, because it's literally, if you're doing it once a quarter, and I think you need to be in front of people once a quarter to do that, for them to remember. And if you're not hosting parties where you can see them all and conversate with them, then it's literally every day, because you figure 90 days a quarter.
Right. Yeah.
You're doing something.
Yep. But have fun with your database. Segment them if you want to. We're starting to do that on Facebook, where we're putting people in groups. So I figure it's probably going to take me a couple of years because I might miss some people sometimes. But you know what though? I'm putting people from high school in my Gulfport High group list. I've got family. So I can make a post and I can direct it to just my family, and only my family will see the Facebook post. So it's kind of like it's grouping, but not being in the group. And Facebook will be more intentional about getting that message to those folks if they're online or whatever they mean. Sometimes they may not log into Facebook as much as we do because it's part of our jobs, but they're going to do their best to make sure that they see that post. So, I'm building out a realtors group. So the problem is somebody like that one guy, Bob, that I connected with several years ago, who's not an agent. I might have originally put him in a realtors group, and now he's not an agent any longer.
Yeah.
So,
you got to be careful of that too.
And that happens, right? Somebody might have connected with you locally. It might have been an old neighbor or whatever. But, if you don't know, just ask the question, how did we get connected on social media?
Well, I've done some interviews with people, and I'm like, I got to remember, how do we get connected 5 years ago or 4 years ago or whatever it was, and they'll remember. And I'm like, cool, it's awesome. I'm just curious again how we know each other, how we're friends on there or whatever, and that person knows how that we got connected because they're reaching out for a certain reason.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
We've talked to that individual. So, the things can slip through your mind, and it's okay. And you think about the number of people that can direct business your way that don't, simply because we haven't asked for the opportunity.
Yeah. It's like knowing who you're going after. And like, we're doing a bunch of LinkedIn messaging right now. I mean, we met each other through Curator 6 years ago or 7 years ago, 8 years ago, probably. And I've one of the guys who messaged, we're just doing some communication out there. He goes, "Hey, yeah, it's James from Curator. We met a Curator years ago." I was like, "Oh shit, cool, good to get connected again." And we hadn't made that connection on Facebook, usually where all of our lines were. So it was, you reconnect with some.
Oh yeah. And you know what? I mean, and if you have, I'm just here thinking out loud. I'm thinking about, I've got a core 50 of local people. Wouldn't it be really cool to have a core group of 50 real estate agents around the United States that you could quickly gather for a quick, conversation? Hey, I want to pick your brain about something, right? And so it's easy because of the relationships that are developed. But I promise you probably have 50 agents or maybe even 100 that, through your relationships that you've developed through Curator and other conferences, going back into your Remax days and stuff like that, you've got people that are very interested in seeing you be successful. And so if you were to call them and just say, "Hey man, I'd love to pick your brain for 10 or 15 minutes, about something." And these small little aha moments are the ones that, you'll pull away from that conversation and go, "Okay, that's an implementable item that I can do right now that would make a significant difference for my business over the next, 30, 60, 90 days.
Well, that's like the method we have going on there. It's getting together and sharing. I'm part of a mastermind now with a bunch of our organizations, and it's great because we connect every other Tuesday. So that's a small niche 10, and if they see your name popped up on your market on Facebook on a group, all of them jump in and tag, and it's like, "Hey, check this one out. Help me out here. Do this. Show the support."
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a purposeful thing, and I think we've got we have a tendency to look for things that we don't have, and what do we need when the majority of our business is already in the palm of our hands every single day, with our phones, and just utilize that to call people, to check in, to see how they're doing. There's never been a better time for conversations, but make sure that when you're having those conversations that you start off by saying, "Hey, look, I only have just a couple of minutes because I don't want to take too much of your time, but I do have another call planned, in a short time," right? Pick the top of the hour or the half hour or whatever.
Right.
You do need to go make another phone call. So it's not like you're coming up with an excuse to get off the phone, but don't get tied up with somebody that could take too much of your time. If they need it, give it to them. But most of the time it's just a situation where you're refreshing that voice, you're refreshing that connection, and you're refreshing that thought process so that somebody that they know they can refer to you when they tell them about selling real estate. So
right. Well, and you keep your day controlled too. If you've got something at 9:30, you need to block off at 9:30 and get out of there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, this is all great stuff, Rick. I really do appreciate it. It's just you've expanded my vision of what my database really is, and it is not just Follow Up Boss. It's Facebook, it's LinkedIn, it's Instagram, it's KV Core. It's my phone. When people say, "How many contacts do you have?" So when we originally started, I went down to my phone and looked. I'm 8,262 contacts.
Isn't that crazy?
It's
Do you not think you can get 100 units in the next 12 months out of those numbers?
That's what 0.05% of my database there. Exactly. So
yeah, because out of those 8,200, you could probably extract some of those. You probably have there's probably some in there without contact information, right? Or it's all changed or something like that. But imagine pulling that information out and being able to send to some type of a, maybe if it's segmented out, how did we connect? And if somebody may not even really know how in the world connect, say, "Well, let me introduce myself. My name's Todd Schroth. I live in Orlando. I'm a real estate agent. I'd love to earn your business."
Right.
And they go, "Oh, I deal with Rick over in the Woodlands, sorry." And, "Hey, well, no harm, but it's free. We're spending all this money on marketing and advertising that's totally unnecessary when you've got 100 units parked in your phone right now."
Yeah. I don't need all here.
Yeah. Put them all on an auto dialer and have an auto dialer call all those people.
That'd be fun. Just
do a voicemail drop and just say, "Hey, it's Todd. Hey man, I hadn't talked to you in a really long time. Give me a call back." "Hey, who's Todd?"
Well, your number's on my phone for some reason, so you contacted me somehow.
Yeah. Hey, I'm giving the next 10 callers 10% off commissions.
Oh my God. That is awesome. Well, Rick, I appreciate it. We'll wrap up, and everyone, thanks for any final words, Rick?
Dude, man, just have fun. Real estate's a great game. I love it, and it's if you're not enjoying it, I don't know what to tell you, but just make it about the individual who's doing they're either listing or a buyer, and just be supportive. It's difficult, but just let them know that you're there. Empathize with their situations and whether they're missing out on properties or they've got a lot to do to get their house ready or they're behind, whatever it is. Just be empathetic and be supportive and be helpful. And I promise you, the referrals from all that, from loving on them, will grow like crazy.
It'll pay off big time. Well, I appreciate you today and taking time on your vacation to come in here and show us kind of door knocking your database and what it really means and how you can do that and expanding what your database is. I think that's the biggest takeaway because we've got more than just one. It's your phone, it's your social media, it's your CRM, it's everything. It's your database.
Your database is huge. Absolutely. Well, man, thank you. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Yep. Have a good trip back and have a good weekend.
All right.
Enjoy.
Talk to you soon, man.